she's calling back. We're going to try to give her a call again, and then she just added another phone number to the 13-year-old grandson who's possibly with the daughter. Start out with this.
2412.
Veteran crisis hotline's calling in, so they have a female veteran off her medication. She's over at the safe haven. Attacking 12, we'll check that one out.
6 Rumble, 2 1 started to show us.
Also still stands for time? No. Offender in custody? Temporary with thanks. Anyone else close, might just see something, let me know. First time out. 10-4.
Holy, 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 holy. Holy, holy, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. I was just sitting on Twitter a few minutes ago and, well, more than that actually, probably about 20. And I saw the news drop about the DP, uh, the plea deal, the PA witnesses that took place today. 3 of them weren't wanting to go. I'm just like, this is number one. I'm shocked. Like I'm freaking shocked. And I see StreamYard's messing up. Give me 1 second. Okay, am I working again? Okay. Wait, am I? Yes. I think you guys can see me. It's so distracting, StreamYard. Come on. Holy shit, though. This is I'm shocked. Like, I'm shocked. I had to put out a community post out real quick. I'm sitting here freaking shaking. My hands are shaking. I'm like, what? I'm running around. I wasn't even prepared to go live until later this evening. I'm running around like I didn't have any of this shit ready. What the hell? So, yeah. The first thing I thought was that I wonder what the PA witnesses had to do with this. That's my biggest question, right? Because Ann Taylor has been fighting and 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 fighting, right? Like, to her last breath. You know, like all this time, fighting to your last breath. And then all of a sudden a plea deal. And I'm like, well, it has to do something with the witnesses from today. It has to. That's what I'm saying, fire last. Why would he? And this is what I'm thinking. Like, it had to do with something with the witnesses today. Now there's no cameras in the courtroom, so we weren't going to be able to go live. You know, you get the updates through Twitter, through reporters that are in the courtroom. And really, it was just to make sure that they were supposed to go there. That it would obviously not be televised, you know, because of PA law or, you know, their preference or whatever. But with this whole plea deal just out of nowhere, it has to, I don't know. That was my first thought. As soon as I seen that come across first, I was like, what? But then instantly I'm like, it had to do with something with the PA witnesses. You know, because right up to today, seriously, right up till today, before those PA witnesses were testifying, she was fighting like crazy. No, it's being reported by multiple sources. At first, I saw News Nation. I was like, well, Banfield ain't going to be coming out with this if it's not true, because that would end her career. Like, think about it. If Banfield or any of these major news organizations came out with this and it wasn't true, that's the end of a lot of careers. Because this ain't no joke. Like, announcing a plea deal, that ain't no joke. Yeah, we're gonna go to Twitter. We're gonna go to Twitter, especially Brian. I just had to make sure that StreamYard was going to allow us to do so. And there's some other tweets too. So let me go ahead and share this real quick. Give me 1 second. Well, this is the other crazy thing too. The prosecution doesn't have to show. Remember when I was talking about the green light and how they would be cool with green lighting the leaks taking place? Because it could potentially lead them down a path where they listen, we wanted to show you, but we weren't able to. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. We were about to show you in trial. Exactly, Moonlight. We were about to show you in trial, but we don't have to now. Man, and that, like, to think about it like this whole time, what's up, Scout? Shout out to you. This whole time we were sitting here asking all these questions, right? When it comes to the evidence, when it comes to all of it, we had all the questions, all the digging, the questions and the theories and the speculations and all of the thoughts, theories, and opinions. None of them will be answered. None of them will be answered. And that's wild. That's wild. And so now, if we thought, and this is the sad part about it, is if we thought that it was at a point right now where people are regurgitating stuff that has been talked about 2-3 years ago, and people just regurgitate. Man, you want to talk about, like with Delphi, how Richard Allen was found guilty, and then all of the speculation and the theories that are going beyond that, and this right here. Shoot. Can you, like, there's, like, that's the thing. Like, with all of the theories, thoughts, and speculations, they could be legit. We didn't know most of them. You know what I'm saying? There's a plausible theory to it, whatever. But there was one thing that was always going to come: the real answers. Hey, we just got to wait until we get to trial, and then we can see it all. We just got to wait till we get to trial. We get to see it all. We get to have those questions answered. We get to really find out. So then when it comes to all this regurgitation, we know what's real. We know what's not. We know, the leopards in the background and all these other we know what's real. We know what's not. That's a good question too. Did they just fire? I don't know. This is crazy though. The plea deal. Now, just like I said, when it comes to Richard Allen and Delphi, right? Does Bridge Guy look like Richard Allen? No. To me, no. But the dude admitted to it. So when it comes to this plea deal, the dude admitted to it. But if he's a Fed, what does that have to do with the plea deal? But what, you know what I'm saying? What if he is? What does that have to do with the plea deal? You know what I'm saying? If you're an informant, don't you think that you would be kept under and not even have to do a plea deal? You see where I'm coming from? So when it comes to the Fed talk and stuff like that, look, that's something that trust me, he'll be in jail. You'll be able to write him a letter, because you can write Richard Allen a letter. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to write him a letter. I'm sure he'll have visitors. His mom and dad are alive. It's not like they're pretending that he's dead. You know what I'm saying? His mom and dad are going to be able to visit him. His family's going to be able to go see him. They're going to be able to have calls. They're going to be able to have they're going to be able to have video calls, you know, and all sorts of stuff. It's not like they're pretending he's dead. You know what I'm saying? Now, that kind of Fed shit, yeah. When they pretend you're dead and then you take on another identity, whatever. Yeah, then you're talking some Fed shit. But when it comes to like taking a plea deal and all this other shit, that, in fact, in my opinion, that brings you farther away from the informant aspect, because listen, if the dude was going undercover, they'd fake his death. You know what I'm saying? They would have faked his death. His parents are alive. Everybody's going to be able to see him. There's no way. So when it comes to this plea deal, it's like I said about Richard Allen. The dude, listen, do I think he was the guy that, you know, was bridge guy and all this stuff? No, I don't. But the dude admitted it. And if I'm sitting there, I don't give a F what kind of position I'm in. I ain't admitting to shit I didn't do. I'll tell you that right now. I don't give a F. You can beat the living hell out of me. I am not admitting to shit I didn't do, especially some stuff like that. Right? So that's what I have to say when it comes to this plea deal. Dude, it's like I've always said this whole time. There's questions when it comes to the evidence. There is. There's questions when it comes to the evidence. But I also said, I wasn't there. I don't know if he did it or not. We have to wait to trial and find out. Well, you don't have to wait for trial now. The dude pled guilty. Again, Richard Allen admitted it. Bryan Kohberger is admitting it. Does this evidence and even all the work that I did, the boots on the ground to help expose how many cameras were on the route, how the route didn't make sense, how somebody was going to commit the crime, they'd go this route. I did talk to all of these people. I went fucking out there, man. I put my fear of getting on a damn plane, like a huge fear, I put that shit to the side, because I was like, I gotta go document this house before it gets torn down. I gotta go talk to these people. I need to do this stuff. It's the whole reason of being the boots on the ground, because it's the senses that come. Look, we can talk about it and we can show stuff on the screen. But when you're actually there, it brings a whole new awareness to everything that is being discussed. That's why I have to go to locations, because I need to sense it. I need to feel it. I need to see it. The dude took a plea deal. That means you're admitting to the crime. Now, I would love to know, and we're not gonna find anything out unless Ann Taylor wants to write a book, unless BK wants to write a book. Because I wouldn't trust a book from anybody else. But listen, that's the only way we're going to know anything beyond today. That's it. So, all of these questions that we have asked for all this time, all of the questions with the evidence, and they will always be there. This is one of, I'm happy for the families because, at least the families, not that they'll ever get closure because you'll never get your loved one back, but at least the families, it's that next step, it's that next step that they have to go. And at least they didn't have to wait all of that time in order to get to that next step, because now they're at that step where they can, they can move on, they can move on from this and they can really start the healing process. You know what I'm saying? They can really start it. And, you already know what you're going to see on social media. Exactly, Ginger. The family did not have to go through more torture during the rest of the trial. I don't think they did either, Bo. It's like I'm saying, listen, look at my work. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this don't make sense. I flew from one side of the country to the other just to go there, just to try and either explore more beyond what didn't make sense or try and make sense of what didn't make sense. It's why I'm referring to Richard Allen in the Delphi case, because I think he did it by himself as an RA? No, I don't. I think it took more than one person. Just like even with the weapon, you know what I'm saying? The K-bar. I've said from in the beginning, first month, 2, 3 months, when I started hearing about the injuries and everything, especially that first month and a half, month and a half. I was like, there's no way a K-bar did this. Why do you think I came to the conclusions and the theories that the K-bar and the sheath was Maddie and Kaylee's? I don't know. I mean, when it comes to Ann Taylor, right? Oh, shit, right here. Right, Hellbear? I am too. I'm going to star that comment. That's the comment of the show so far. I'm in a frozen shock phase. I am. Oh, this... Remember when okay, so somebody put a comment, AT just decided to make herself look innocent. Now I know, and that's the biggest thing I'm asking, Cole, because I was like, up until today, she was fighting her last breath. But she can only fight like that until her client says, I want to take a plea deal. And that's why I'm saying something that happened. Something that happened. Oh, we got sources. Brian Netton's on the scene too. Something happened in that PA courtroom with those witnesses that all of a sudden it was like the car just flew off the road. because she was pushing. All of a sudden, the car went boom, 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 and just started rolling and then hit a tree. Something happened in that PA. There was a testimony. I'm curious to find out what the testimony was. Wow, hold on a second. Hold on. This is breaking news as well. Let's see if StreamYard. Check this out, you guys. The Consalvis family are pissed. Hold on a minute. Look at this. Consalvis family says they are beyond furious at the state of Idaho and that the Bryan Kohberger plea deal was unexpected. You know why? Because they wanted the DP. That's what they really wanted. They wanted that DP. Dang. They are mad as hell. Wow. Let me retweet this. Right here. Also, I have learned Bryan Kohberger has accepted a plea deal. Sources confirm the prosecution has proposed dropping the death penalty in exchange for Kohberger pleading guilty to committing the 4 murders and serving life. More details soon. And so we're just waiting for Bryan, and we'll leave that live ticker up there. So when something does come through, we'll know instantly. And also, let me see here. Yeah, multiple reports all over the place. Let's go to this article real quick here. Let's see. Bryan Kohberger accepts plea deal. Prosecution had proposed dropping the DP. A court hearing for a change of plea will be Wednesday. So on Wednesday, and I bet you it's going to be live, everybody. So we will be live for that court hearing. Dang, well, I guess I don't have to worry about trying to make it out to Idaho to report from the courtroom, because that was going to be my first I had everything ready and prepped to go, even my microphone, so I can stand in front of the setup and report to you live from the courtroom in Idaho as the trial went. So that's a bummer. But I'm sure we'll retool and figure out. I know JP Miller's got a lot of shit going on over there in Myrtle Beach. We might have to go do some reporting out there in Myrtle Beach soon. We'll see. But this says here, let me get rid of, oh, hold on.
All right, breaking news coming in from the state of Idaho once again, but on a different story, as News Nation has just learned that the accused killer, Bryan Kohberger, accepted a plea deal. Yeah, a plea deal was offered. He has accepted the deal. Sources are confirming that prosecutors proposed dropping the death penalty. That was the deal in exchange for Kohberger pleading guilty to committing 4 murders and pleading guilty to burglary as well. So guilty plea in exchange for no death penalty. Now, the background on this story, you'll remember he's accused of killing those 4 University of Idaho students at their home. It was back in November of 2022. Sources say Kohberger must also agree to spend the rest of his life in prison without any possibility of parole. So jail for life, no parole, but again, no death penalty. Must waive his right to appeal as part of this as well. Plea deal has been accepted. A court hearing for a change of plea will take place on Wednesday.
On Wednesday. All right, let's go to the Consalvis family page. Let's go to that here, and let's see. It says right here, and here, let me share the link for this as well. Let me share the link for this as well. All right, so here's this. Oh, it's being cut off. That's weird. Hold on. All righty. Well, there's the link anyway. It's true. We are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us. Please give us some time. This is very unexpected. We appreciate all your love and support. It's because they weren't, number one, they weren't advised. Number two, let me go back to Brian Enton's Twitter. Make sure we get the latest on that. Let me flip back here. All right, we're still waiting for an update on Twitter. I'll leave this up. It's because they weren't advised, number one. Number two, because they wanted the DP for sure. And they weren't asked. So I can understand why it's more backroom deals going on when what's the most important part when it comes to this? It's the families. And the families have every right to be notified. They have every right to be reached out to and asked. Now, is it their decision? Well, it would have to be a unanimous decision, obviously. But why wouldn't you? I mean, I get you want to save money. I get that, because really, who's paying for it all? The taxpayers of Idaho. That's not fair. It's not fair to them. It's crazy, man. There's gonna be so much for years to come, and I just, that was the one. The one nice thing about it was that, you know what, there's gonna be answers. There's gonna be answers one day when it comes to trial. We're gonna be able to see it. We're not gonna ever be able to. Thank you, Caddy. Hold on a second. There's a update from KTVB. Let's see what this is here. Hold on. This just came out.
We are coming on the air with breaking news. Multiple sources close to the case have confirmed that there is a hearing on Wednesday to discuss a plea deal with Bryan Kohberger. He is the man accused of killing 4 University of...
Like I said, we will be live for that. Trust me, because I'm going to be watching that like a hawk.
Idaho students.
What
Kohberger
the heck?
Is charged with killing Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xander Kernoodle at their off-campus home in November 2022. All 4 were found stabbed to death.
And in a statement posted on Facebook just before 4 o'clock this afternoon, the Gonsalves family says, quote, "It's true. We are beyond furious at the state of Idaho. They have failed us. Please give us some time. This was very unexpected. We appreciate all your love and support," end quote.
We reached out to Kohberger's defense team, and when we called them to ask for comment, they said no comment, and they hung up. We also reached out to the Gonsalves family attorney, as well as the Chapin family.
They're not saying nothing.
Mom, really, we're trying to get a picture here of what this looks like. Kohberger's trial is scheduled to start in August at the Ada County Courthouse.
Yeah, they ain't saying nothing except for social media, like it says right here. Give us some time. All right, let's check Brian Enton here. Let's see what he has. Still the same 16 minutes ago. Let's retweet that. Let me see here. Okay, so that was an unfortunate situation last night too. When it comes to that fire, that was shocking too. Let me see here. Let me refresh this. That's crazy, I would tell you. Man, let me go to one of these videos here. This is so wild. I can't believe this. This is wild. He did it. He did it. I mean, he took a plea deal. Unless I listen, I don't know why you take a plea deal if you didn't do it. Let me see here. All right. Let me Law and Crime's going to be going on in a second here too. I'm going to be let me hit refresh on this real quick as well. Let's see if there's anything. Okay, still same thing. Plea deal accepted. Blackhawk. Like I said, it was either multiple people that did it. That's how I'll always, unless it was a weapon that you see a lot of pictures of, and even the students themselves holding, or even the machete. But it definitely, if you're saying one person with the K-bar, I don't know. I just have a. But hey, it's like I said. Ooh, this is what I wonder about. Oh, hold on. Okay, so check this out. So when oh, damn, hold on. So that the Dateline stuff came out, right? The Dateline episode, the book from Bloom, there's another book coming out, there's another documentary coming out, Prime. We're still going to watch it. It's coming out July 11th. We'll be watching it over on Twitch. Link is in the description. But this is what I'm wondering. Was this an actual play? Okay. Dateline stuff's coming out. The jury pool, to me, is already going to be manipulated to think that I did it. This new Prime Video is going to be coming out. More issues. We were wanting a delay. They just wanted a delay. Is this a play? I'm going to plead guilty right now, but I'm going to use this to say that I only pleaded guilty for a deal because of what was going on, and I knew I wasn't going to get a fair trial. And since I knew I wasn't going to be getting a fair trial, I didn't want to take the chance of being put to death. So the reason I took the plea deal wasn't because I was guilty, but in fact was because I knew I wasn't going to get a fair trial. And so when it comes to my appeal, check out what the Innocence Project is going to be working on really soon when it comes to this touch DNA. Mark Carver went to jail, was convicted of killing a lady based off of touch transfer DNA, was in prison for 10 years until the appeal process came through, backed up by the Innocence Project, and set him free. The same DNA that set Mark Carver free was also the same DNA that convicted him. They said he can't appeal. That changes it then. If they said he can't appeal, I have to see that. I haven't seen that yet. Let me see if I'm seeing it. If it's reported, send me the link, EvilleCJ@gmail.com. I'm not seeing anything lately from Bryan in here. He can't appeal? If he can't appeal, well, you did it. Does the shit not make sense? It don't make sense, but you admitted to it. Why you gonna take a plea deal? Listen, If it was you, think about it. If it was you, same situation, and instead of BK, it was you, wouldn't you still fight? Wouldn't you not take the plea deal? Wouldn't you not take the plea deal? If you were in that same position as BK, I'm telling you right now, bring up all the witnesses, bring up all the evidence. Because if I didn't do it, listen, I will fight until my own damn death. And if that means that I'm in the same position where I have a DP facing me, I don't give a shit. Guess what? I'm fighting until the death. If I didn't do it, I didn't do it. Did I think he did it? Well, as of today, yeah. Not based off the evidence, not based off of all these court hearings that we've seen and all the shady testimonies. But the dude admitted it by taking a plea deal. He did it. You admitted. The plea deal is you admitting to the crime. That's what it boils down to. But when it comes to this, you know, I brought it up a little bit ago. When it comes to this federal, if BK was any part of federal investigative work, number one, look at what happens to other agents that are part of stuff and then they pin it on them. They usually get kaput, right? Because they can't talk. So I don't, if he was, this to me, this right here, this plea deal says to me he was the farthest away from being a federal agent. He was the farthest away from being a federal agent. That's what this says to me, because if he was a federal agent, he wouldn't even be in this position, number one, because we wouldn't even know about him. You know what I mean? If he was a federal agent and it was this, we wouldn't even know about him. He wouldn't even be in this position. Also, those people usually go, I don't think, I mean, that's just my opinion. I think this right here, because I always entertained the being an informant. I always entertained it. I don't see it. This right here, accepting the plea deal. Think about it like this. What are you gaining from going to prison for the rest of your life if you didn't do it? Seriously, what are you gaining? Even if you're a federal informant, what are you gaining? It doesn't make sense. That's true too, Ashley Lauren, and that's a good point. Until he accepts it in court, it's not accepted. I'm in shock too. What's up, LR? But like I said, you're either going to be killed off, witness protection, changed your name, your identity, people, his family's going to be able to visit him. His family's going to be able to visit him. So he's not some secret person. If he was an informant, just like all the other informants that were up there too, we're not going to know who they are. So by him accepting the plea deal tells me that ends the conversation. In my opinion, that ends the conversation of ever being an informant. Now, when it comes to the whole, was there anybody else arrested? Do I think he had a partner? Yeah. Do I think Richard Allen had a partner? Yeah. Do I think both prosecutions didn't go after? I mean, think about Richard Allen and the two bridge guy drawings. Exactly, LR. I don't either. That's why I'm saying with this plea deal, it officially has ended any kind of connection, in my opinion, when it comes to any kind of confidential informant, because that is not what takes place. It's not what happens. But it's like Ashley did say, until we got Wednesday's going to be the court hearing. I mean, it could be backed into a corner too, Tara. But at the same time, this is what I'm saying. Put your guys' self in that position. If you were in that same position, I'm fighting. Let's go to trial. Let's have all the witnesses go up there. Let's show all the evidence. Because if I didn't do it, I didn't do it. That's what I was saying, LR. Because as soon as I heard this and I seen this pop up, I'm like, they were just asking for an extension. And now all of a sudden the plea deal, the same morning that the PA witnesses are testifying, it had to be something. It had to be something that a witness testified to. It had to be. How do you go? Let me hit refresh on Bryan Etten real quick. How do you go from wanting an extension to all of a sudden a plea deal? Nothing new from Bryan Etten. How do you do that? And coincidentally, the same morning where these PA witnesses testify, somebody said something. The boxing coach? Could it have been the boxing coach? There was 3 people that did not want to go. Let's go. You know what? Let's go to that video. Let's go to the video where they discuss the 3 people that didn't want to go. Let's see what they say about that. Hold on one second. Let me find that video. 3 PA witnesses object. Here we go. Let's check this out real quick. Let's check this out real quick. This is from this morning. This is from this morning. Let's see what they say about these 3 witnesses. Something took place for them to go from wanting an extension to all of a sudden, we're just going to take a plea deal. Who said what? Who said what?
They eventually get into the same apartment together.
Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know, over here.
And I assume noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
And in the end, they died together.
Welcome back to Court TV Live. I'm Matt Johnson in for Ted Rowlands alongside Julia Janae. Thanks for being with us. We are going to turn our attention right now to developing news out of the state of Pennsylvania, where a judge in the college murders case is expected to make a major ruling about testimony from key witnesses in that case.
Yeah, this comes after 2 friends who found the victims' bodies are speaking out for the first time. Let's listen to them speaking on Good Morning America earlier today.
In the documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone. You know, it's something you would never expect.
It's no.
Okay, and that bothered me right there. That was something that I was going to discuss in tonight's show, but instead we're having this show instead. That's something I want to discuss real quick. Because when this video came out this morning about the friends talking, and she said that Dylan and her, so when Dylan called and asked them to come over, Emily says that they were joking around on the damn phone. You're joking around on the phone when you're calling your friend to come over because of all the noises you heard and what you saw on the ground. And I mean, you don't think Dylan said the same shit that Hunter did when Hunter got to the same spot that Dylan was at? You hear in this little clip of as soon as we walked up, you could tell there was something wrong. You know why? It stunk. It stunk. And you're joking on the phone. Yes, check this out. I was going to wait to talk about it until tonight, but we're here live now. And listen to this, you guys. I was like, I heard that this morning. I was out on location this morning, but I heard this morning and I was like, are you serious? She said she was joking. Oh, we're going to talk about this tonight. Listen to this.
The story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone.
You weren't really alarmed when Dylan called you. You weren't really alarmed when Dylan called you. Oh, I joked around with her on the phone, you know. It's something you would never expect. And look at her smile. And look at her smile. Yes, she said this shit. I was like, what? Dylan, you were joking around on the phone when you're calling your friends? And then you hear Hunter, get back! Get back! He grabbed a damn kitchen knife when he walked up into the living room area. He grabbed a kitchen knife. Get back! Get back! But Dylan's calling, and we even joked around.
Who found the victims' bodies are speaking out for the first time. Let's listen to them speaking on Good Morning America earlier today.
In the documentary, you tell the story of really not.
See? And dude, if you guys listen, I'm going to drop the link. If you're not following me on Twitch, this is where we do our watch parties for everything that we will get in trouble for on YouTube. And we've done them already. You can go watch the Dateline one that we've already done. We're going to be doing one for this Amazon Prime. Here's the Dateline episode if you want to check that one out. Full episode, direct link. If you haven't seen it yet, there's the link for you. And also, here's the link to the Twitch. All episodes are unrestricted and full access, and we are going to be doing the watch parties over there on Twitch. When it comes to this this documentary that's coming out July 11th in just less than 2 weeks. So definitely head over there, download it if you don't have the app, or you don't have to download it on the web. And then just create an account, link your Amazon Prime up to Twitch. Very easy to do. It's just one little button that you click to link them together. And then you can sub on Twitch for free once a month. If you have Amazon Prime, you can sub for free once a month. Every month you'll have to sub. And anytime we do members-only content over here on YouTube, the subs on Twitch also qualify as members-only content. And if you're not able to have a membership on YouTube and you have Amazon Prime already, you can get a free sub over there, and you can still take part in the members only content over there, free with Twitch or with Amazon Prime. All right. So in this documentary, you tell the story of really not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you. Yoli, if you're not busy and you want to hop up, let me know and I'll drop you a link. Not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you. Now, this was when Dylan, hey guys, I need you to come over and check something out. And this is what was crazy to me. This thing is going to be wild, especially with these two people that they're going to be one of the main focuses on this program that they're making coming out July 11th. There is going to be a lot to say. And you know what? This is what I'm wondering, because there's still 11 more days until this program comes out. I'm wondering, since now there's a plea deal, is it even gonna include more stuff that they weren't going to include because of the trial? And I'm wondering if there's more stuff that's going to come out in this now. And I'm also wondering if Dateline is also going to make a part 2 of the little program that they did now that there's a plea deal coming out. Again, the court hearing will be on Wednesday, and we will be live for that, because I gotta see this. I have to see this.
Not feeling alarmed when Dylan called you.
I joked around with her on the phone. You know, it's something you would never expect.
And she laughs about it. It's so crazy. So crazy. All right, hold on. Let me see if there's any updates. Okay, we know about the family. Let's see here. Oh, it's going wild. Of course it would. We're consulted. Whoa! Look at this. Hold on a second, you guys. This says right here. Looks like the families of the Idaho 4 were consulted. Were consulted prior to the plea deal for Bryan Kohberger being considered, according to Kana Whitworth, which means the Consalvis family may have been in the minority of wanting a trial. So remember when I told you guys, they had to have a unanimous decision. This is insane. Let me pull the Consalvis family page back up. They said they weren't. So the prosecution only reached out to the prosecution only reached out to the family members that would have been cool with the plea deal. Ain't this some shit? All right, hold on. Let me see. It says right here, some notes here. Thanks to the great Kana Whitworth, the defense approached the state seeking. I'm going to retweet this, guys. If you're not following me on Twitter X, definitely go follow me, because I do retweet all of this stuff. And instead of trying to go in all these different locations, you can just scroll down my retweet feed. The defense approached the state seeking a deal. Prosecutors met with families saying this ensures Kohberger will die in prison and they won't have to go through endless appeals. Let's click on this, you guys. Holy shit. Wow. Retweet. They intentionally... I don't know, Amy. They intentionally didn't reach out to the Consalvis family. Wow. This is crazy here. I thought we were just going to be talking about the plea deal. Nope. This is no, this isn't it. Let me see. Kevin Fixler, yeah, talks about here. Let me tweet this out. And here, let me drop the link for you guys in chat. I'm also going to tweet this out. That link might be too long for YouTube. It is. It's too long for YouTube. I apologize. Here, I'm going to have to tweet it. Okay, there's that. And then retweet. Joseph Scott's going to be joining Vinny. All right, let me go back to this. Oh, this is wild. This is wild. I thought it was just going to be about this plea deal. This is so much more. Look at this. I don't know who this lady is. I better be following her. I'm already following her. KXLY News. Okay, so she's a local reporter. Shout out to her. If you want the Fixler article, you're going to have to go to Twitter. Now, this is wild. Hold on one second. Now my green screen disappeared. Okay. Hold on. The link worked? Okay, thank you, Linda. Let me see here. My green screen's not working. But that's okay. I thought about changing it up, going back to the old background that I used to have, the corner with the neons and the coffee sign and all that stuff like I used to have a couple years ago. I've been thinking about going to the regular background instead of having the green screen like I've had for a couple years. I don't know how they weren't included. That's really crazy. Okay, let me go here. Let me see here. I gotta go. All right, let's go to latest because I didn't even know about that. I wouldn't have known about that unless I checked the latest. All right. Damn, this is nuts. Let's see, is agreed. We know about that. We know about that. Here, I'll just share it with you guys as we scroll through. Accepted. We know about that. We know about that. Okay. We're just skimming through, seeing what is new here. Brian Enton hasn't tweeted for a bit. He said stay tuned. We're going to go back to this video here in a second. Because this is all within a minute. I just got to scroll through. That's crazy. The Consalvis families were intentionally not reached out to. This is wild. And I feel bad for him because that's bullshit, man. The prosecution knows that they don't agree. They don't. Letter from prosecutors. This is a letter from prosecutors? Hold on a second. Let's retweet that. Letter from prosecutors. We'll go back to my retweet section here in a second. I'm going to scroll through, see if there's anything else. That's crazy. Yeah, the court hearing's on Wednesday. Let's see. We know unacceptable. I usually trust, but I feel badly for. That's crazy. Not the original article I saw, and not the source I usually trust, but all the families. What? That's not true. No, dude. If you go to the Consalvis family. If you go to the Consalvis family page, they did not agree to that. They did not agree to that. This was very unexpected. They did not agree to that. Unless they were forced. Look, the three other families said, we're cool. We're waiting on you. Maybe they felt backed into a corner and they had no choice. I don't know. All right, let's go to my retweets here. Let's see Let's see what this says. Letter from prosecutors. Bryan Kohberger agrees to plead guilty to all counts in Idaho college murder case. Letters from prosecutors. Let's see.
Dealing another blow to the defense. Kana Whitworth has the details. Kana, good morning.
Yeah, wait, good morning. So the judge in the case finding no justification to delay the trial, but opening statements will be pushed by a week, now starting August 18th. Jury selection will remain.
What the hell? This is old. This isn't no letter from the prosecutor. Damn, Twitter. I'm going to unretweet that. Unretweet. Forget about that. That's not real. All right, hold on. Let me go back to Melissa Luck from KXLY. All right, she just tweeted, I've lived in this town long enough. Okay, that's about the firefighters. Okay, the defense approached the state. Wow, right here. The defense approached the state seeking a deal. The defense approached the state. The defense approached the state seeking a deal. Let's go to Brian Enton. Has he put out anything out there? All right. Nope, not yet. Let's go back to this video about the 3 PA witnesses. Because like I said, I really feel like something that took place at that PA witness testimony, something happened there. Something happened. Let's see. Court TV's reporting on the 3 witnesses that object to testifying.
It's November, so I had shorts on, slides on. Like, I wasn't prepared to obviously stay there. I was just going over to check, see what's going on. I would say as soon as you get there, you know something's wrong.
And as we're seeing this new information come out from those witnesses, this morning, other potential witnesses appeared at a hearing in Pennsylvania to determine if there is cause for them to be compelled to travel and testify at Kohberger's upcoming trial in August. Bryan Kohberger is accused of killing those 4 University of Idaho students back in November of 2022. And just last week, the judge denied the defense from bringing up alternate suspects as a theory at trial. He also denied
That's what's crazy. Up until today, they wanted an extension. You know, fighting to the last breath, wanting an extension. What happened? What happened? I want to know what these PA witnesses testified. That's what I want to know.
delay in this trial.
Major rulings in that case. Let's do this. Let's head down to the ground. Joining us live with the latest is Court TV Senior Director of Courtroom Coverage, Grace Wong. Grace, you were in that courtroom this morning. You're in the law library right now. What can you tell us about the hearing and the witnesses who were present?
Hi, Matt and Julia. So this hearing, Judge Hippler presides over the Idaho case against Bryan Kohberger. Now, 6 of these witnesses have been subpoenaed, and they reside in Pennsylvania. Now, the Idaho judge has no jurisdiction in Pennsylvania. So in order for them to be able to be called as witnesses in Idaho, he has to have a Pennsylvania judge order these witnesses to appear. And of these witnesses that were subpoenaed, 3 of them expressed concern and objection about going to Idaho, and they were able to, and they have a right to a hearing. They have a right to be heard. The judge did take their testimony. And so we heard from 3 of those witnesses today about why they did not want to testify.
Talk about those witnesses one by one, because there were several subpoenas that went out. I think a couple were actually continued to a later hearing, but the ones that we heard about today, can you talk about why they're even important to the defense's case, starting with Brandon Andriola?
Brandon Andriola was in high school with Bryan Kohberger, and he wanted the subpoena quashed because he thinks that his relationship with Bryan since high school has been minimal and distant. And his last contact, his last significant contact with Bryan was in June of 2020, some years before this all happened. And more importantly, he's very concerned about the blowback that this will cause to him and his family, namely that.
Something's happening with StreamYard here. Okay. Hold on. I guess I have to back out. Dang it, this sucks. I have all these One second. Gosh, come on, StreamYard. This is so fucking ridiculous. Hold on, I'm trying to put these links in a category so I can just click on them again and instead of trying to have them. This is so ridiculous. All right, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I gotta close out my browser. All right, let me get this back up. All right, let's go back to. So I apologize about the technical stuff here. All right, let's try this again.
As you get there, you know something's wrong.
And as we're seeing this new information come out from those witnesses, this morning other potential witnesses appeared at a hearing in Pennsylvania to determine if there is cause for them to be compelled to travel and testify at Kohberger's upcoming trial in August. Bryan Kohberger is accused of killing those 4 University of Idaho students back in November of 2022. And just last week, the judge denied the defense from bringing up alternate suspects as a theory at trial. He also denied a delay in this trial.
Major rulings in that case. Let's do this. Let's head down to the ground. Joining us live with the latest is Court TV Senior Director of Courtroom Coverage, Grace Wong. Grace, you were in that courtroom this morning. You're in the law library right now. What can you tell us about the hearing and the witnesses who were present?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Matt and Julia. So this hearing, Judge Hippler presides over the Idaho case against Bryan Kohberger. Now, 6 of these witnesses have been subpoenaed, and they reside in Pennsylvania. Now, the Idaho judge has no jurisdiction in Pennsylvania, so in order for them to be able to be called as witnesses in Idaho, he has to have a Pennsylvania judge order these witnesses to appear. And of these witnesses that were subpoenaed, 3 of them expressed concern and objection about going to Idaho, and they were able to, and they have a right to a hearing. They have a right to be heard. The judge did take their testimony. And so we heard from 3 of those witnesses today about why they did not want to testify.
Talk about those witnesses one by one, because there were several subpoenas that went out. I think a couple were actually continued to a later hearing, but the ones that we heard about today, can you talk about why they're even important to the defense's case, starting with Brandon Andriola?
Brandon Andriola was in high school with Bryan Kohberger, and he wanted the subpoena quashed because he thinks that his relationship with Bryan since high school has been minimal and distant. And his last contact, his last significant contact with Bryan was in June of 2020, some years before this all happened. And more importantly, he's very concerned about the blowback that this will cause to him and his family. Namely that what he said was that the sisters of Bryan Kohberger have already suffered some fallout. They have lost their jobs, and he is the sole income earner for his family. He has a child and a wife, a stay-at-home mom, and they accompanied him to the courtroom today, and his child is very young. His child is maybe 6 months old, and he said that as the sole income earner, if he should lose his job, that would put him in dire straits. So he really doesn't want to testify, and he was very persistent. Like, even after the judge ruled that he has to appear in Idaho, he persisted to explain that he had already given evidence, as much evidence as he could, and he didn't think he had anything more to add to the case, and wanted to know if he could reduce the subpoena to perhaps appearing via Zoom. Of course, the judge said that is going to be up to Judge Hippler to decide, and he couldn't make that decision for Judge Hippler. So that is going to be a decision, or that is going to be a situation that has to be discussed between the defense and the judge and himself. But so far, his appeal to this judge not to testify in the court has been overruled.
So he's going to have to be there
denied.
now.
Well, not anymore. Well, and we have to listen, these are reports. The defense reached out. Now, there's still a court hearing on Wednesday. It still has to be, you can hey, we're going to buy out the Lakers. We're going to buy out the Lakers. It's not a done deal until that signature is on the paper. Just like the game ain't over until the clock says 0-0-0. It's not over till it's over, until there's a signature. A contract isn't a contract until those signatures are on that paper. You can talk about it. You can discuss it. Hey, we made the deal. There still needs to be that signature. That's the important part about it. Now, when it comes to these witnesses, hey, it makes complete sense. It makes complete sense. So, when it comes to this, we're going to be, who knows what time I'm sure we'll see a document drop, whether it's either this evening or tomorrow. I mean, court's going to be on Wednesday. Court's going to be on Wednesday. So we got to know at least by tomorrow. And I guarantee it's going to be televised like the other court hearings. I guarantee it. Oh, and we're going to watch it. This is what's up, Donald? This is the crappy part about it, all right? This is the crappy part about it. Is that when it comes to, like I said in the beginning of the show, when it comes to all of the questions, could it have been this? Could it have been this? What about this? How about it went like this? Da 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 da. And the regurgitation. A lot of the channels that haven't been around started coming around the last year or two. They go back to see the shit from 3 years ago. They're like, oh, what's up, Aaliyah? That's the sad, like, all these questions that we've had, like, all the work that we've done, all of the work that we've done when it came to this evidence and how it was important for truth and justice moving forward for any of these cases with how the stuff went down. It's wild. But it's like I always said when I went out there, all those questions will never be asked. All the theories will never be proven or disproven. It's going to be a continuous question for the rest of eternity. But, you know, when I went out there and I started looking into all the connections, it's like I always told you guys from back then. If you look up how they do their thing up there, I've always said they throw the books at them in the hopes that they take that plea deal. Now, Bryan Kohberger and Taylor fighting it all the way up until today. And then something had to, like I said, first thing I thought of, holy shit, something happened in that PA witness. One of these testimonies made the defense reach out to the prosecution about a plea deal. Something in these testimonies that took place today. But guess what? They won. Because there's another person in the state of Idaho that accepted a plea deal. And it's like I've said, yes, we got to wait for the hearing on Wednesday, and when we're hearing it with our own ears, that he is going to do this plea deal. If you were in that same position, if I was in that same position, I ain't plea dealing to shit if I didn't do it. I'm not. Period. Oh man, it's going to be a different day on YouTube from this point on, because for this whole time we've been around from the beginning. Our show started like 6 days before the crime even took place. We started covering it from the start. We weren't even going to be a true crime channel. We were just world events. I had a totally different platform format for the show that I had envisioned and everything. In this case, it's crazy, man. All of the theories and the thoughts and the opinions that we thought, hey, we just gotta wait till trial, we'll finally have the answer. Hey, it could happen, but we don't know. We got to wait for trial. Yes, that could exist, but we don't know. We got to wait for trial. We got to see the evidence. It's going to be a different day out there. If you all thought that there was tinfoil hats now, just wait. Because when questions don't have an answer, my Lord, it's dangerous with the information that can be put out. This is wild, but like I said, we got to wait till Wednesday. We'll be back on Wednesday. I'm going to monitor. I'm going to see what's breaking throughout the night. We'll see what happens. This totally threw a whole wrench in everything that I had planned for today before we were even going to do our show. And so now I got to do that stuff after we're done with this one. So stay tuned. Just come back and check later tonight and see, just in case. I'm going to monitor everything. If there's any kind of updates, I'll drop them in community posts. If there is something huge, we'll go live. Also, we'll be live for that court hearing, because I got to hear it. And I ain't admitting to shit if I didn't do it. I ain't admitting to shit if I didn't do it, especially that crime. And you can throw a DP at me. I don't give a shit. Look, I'm not. So when I hear those words, yes, I'm taking this plea deal. He did it. It's like I've always told you guys, I wasn't there. I'm questioning the evidence. I'm not saying he did or didn't. I need to wait for trial and see the evidence. Well, guess what? If somebody's taking a plea deal and I'm putting myself in that position and I'm like, I wouldn't fucking shit. I ain't taking no plea deal. Show the evidence. Let's hear from the witnesses. Let's put it all out in the open. I wouldn't be doing that. And to me, the dude did it. What do you want me to say? He said he did by accepting it and will be on Wednesday. The defense approached the prosecution, not the prosecution approaching the defense. No appeal. So the only thing that we can really discuss at this point, because if you do question all the evidence, right? Maybe he was the car coming in, but was he the car leaving? Different car. We sat there and went, man, I wonder if one person was upstairs and one was downstairs. Now, the only thing that we can really discuss is putting BK in that role of committing the crime and who else helped. Because I really feel if he was there, if he really was there, then he definitely had some help. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And when you know, the speculation, hey, did you arrest anybody else? You want to go for coffee? Now, this is what I wonder. All of the people that were, quote, connected to Kohberger claimed innocence, claimed he was never that dude, couldn't be that dude, da 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 da. What do you say? What are you going to say today? What are you going to say today? Well, I guess I didn't really know him. I guess I really didn't know him. Because everybody that knew him, you know, out here was like, there's no way he couldn't have. It's not possible. I guess you didn't know him. Maybe that's why we never saw photos of you and BK. Because you just truly didn't know him, did you? Yeah, the two comments were when he was arrested in PA. I don't know. We'll discuss it more. That's the only thing. You know, and then the other people that have claimed to have close connections during this process, what are you going to say, right? Like, those people that were close to BK, what are you saying? Because I plea deal, no appeal. No. We'll find out Wednesday. Stay tuned. I'll let you know if there's anything breaking. We will come back if there is something breaking. And I can't wait for this court hearing on Wednesday. This is going to be interesting. We will be live. We will be live for it. And I got to hear this for myself. Let me check one more time, see if there's anything breaking real quick. Nothing from there. Let's check this. Let me see. This is from here. This is from News Nation. We'll go to this real quick. 1 second. We'll check this out and then we'll get ready to end the show. Let me see here. Because now I got to go back and do what I was supposed to do before this. Hold on.
Bryan, this is shocking news. You were the first to report it. What led to
Yep.
this plea deal?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't see this coming, and I've been covering this story since the very beginning until Friday. On Friday, I started hearing some rumblings that there were discussions happening behind the scenes, which again, my indication was
Friday. He was here on Friday. Friday. That was after the alternate perpetrators got shut down. Yeah. So Friday would have been the day after this came out. So Friday, no, since last Friday. Last Friday was the 27th. So if you go to the 26th, this right here, the alternate perpetrators. So when the alternate perpetrators was shut down, that's when they started having conversations. According, because if you go by the timeline and what Brian Enton says right here.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't see this coming, and I've been covering this story since the very beginning until Friday. On Friday, I started hearing some rumblings that there were discussions happening behind the scenes, which again, my indication was always that the prosecution wanted to take this to the very end.
So it wasn't I know, buddy. So it wasn't necessarily the witnesses in PA. It was when the alternate perp got shut down. Wow, this is wild. All right, we'll continue with this here real quick. Please hit the like if you haven't yet. It is the free way.
That Bryan Kohberger would never consider a plea deal, that the prosecution was intent on going after the death penalty. So Friday, I heard the rumblings. There were apparently discussions that happened over the weekend. There was an offer that was made. The prosecution ended up making this offer to the defense, saying that if Bryan Kohberger pleads guilty to all 4 murder charges.
Wait, he just said the prosecution went to the defense. Why are we hearing the defense went to the... What? Hold on a minute. What the hell?
I heard the rumblings. There were apparently discussions that happened over the weekend. There was an offer that was made. The prosecution ended up making this offer to the defense, saying that if Bryan Kohberger pleads guilty to all 4 murder charges and agrees to life in prison, no possibility of parole, no possibility of appeal, would also plead guilty to the burglary charge, that they would take death off the table.
No appeal. Wow. Well, let him say that one more time. That's a whole lot. Come on.
that if Bryan Kohberger pleads guilty to all 4 murder charges and agrees to life in prison, no possibility of parole, no possibility of appeal, would also plead guilty to the burglary charge, that they would take death off the table. And I have learned that that offer was sent over last night to Bryan Kohberger's defense team, and that today they accepted the offer. They accepted the plea deal, so there will not be a trial.
And this is
Wow. Wait a minute. Why are we hearing that the defense reached out to the prosecution? So there was rumbling since last Friday. There was conversations going over the weekend. The prosecution sent the paperwork over to the defense last night, and the defense agreed to it this morning. Dude, that is wild. So this is not taking a plea deal to then try and get an appeal later, because listen, no parole, no appeal. You even take the burglary charge? Yoli, you were the one that was always how do you defend the burglary charge? He even took the burglary charge. Wow. Listen, if the dude's signing that piece of paper on Wednesday, you did it, bro. You did it. Wow. Because if you would at least have an appeal open. Damn. Wow, this is wild.
Pleads guilty to all 4 murder charges and agrees to life in prison, no possibility of parole, no possibility of appeal, would also plead guilty to the burglary charge, that they would take death off the table. And I have learned that that offer was sent over last night to Bryan Kohberger's defense team, and that today they accepted the offer. They accepted the plea deal, so there will not be a trial.
And this is a huge change, Brian, because all along, Bryan Kohberger has been saying it wasn't me, it was somebody else. I had nothing to do with it. He kept pointing to all these other people who might have been implicated. He's been adamant about maintaining his innocence, and a very, very...
Whoa! We're the alternate perpetrators from Kohberger himself. Was Kohberger the one that was offering the alternate perpetrators? But then why would you offer up 4? Does that mean him and 4 other people committed this effing crime? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Were the alternate perps people that he committed the crime with? There wasn't enough evidence. 3 other male DNA. There wasn't enough evidence. Did him and 4 others commit this crime, and he was the only one dumb enough to leave something behind? What do you guys think? This is crazy. I can't wait to hear from Dr. Catherine Ramsland. Listen, I mean, trust me. You know who you're talking to, but shit. That's why I said, put your guys' self in that position. Would you admit to that shit? Would you even take the burglary? No appeal? No parole? I'm sorry. I'm fighting till the effing end for my innocence. Guess what? Bring them all out. Show the evidence. Bring all the people, the witnesses. Have them testify. Because if I didn't do it, I didn't do it. If I didn't do it, then I didn't do it. But you know what? This right here, I'm sorry. Do you guys want to hop up typically? I'll send you a link. I was going to shut down the show, but I can go a little longer if you want to hop up and talk about this real quick. Just let me know. I'll send a link or email me or whatever. But that's why I'm saying put your guys' self in this position. Seriously, you heard Bryan Enton name it off. He told you what he's pleading to. Here, hold on one second. All right, I'm sending you the link in your email. Let's see. Let's go ahead. So they were having conversations from the 27th. So Bryan Enton said they started having discussions on the 27th. The day before was the alternate perp shutdown. That's when they shut down the alternate perp. Then the prosecution sent over a deal. Sent over a deal last night, and they accepted. Hold on one second. Oh, one second. StreamYard's bugging. What's up? Oh, hold on one second. Let me change the circle stuff here. 1 second. 1 second. You guys are on mute as well. Let me see. There we go. We'll get some squares in. We can't hear you. You guys are on mute.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, CJ.
What's up? What? Like, I seen the post come from Bryan Enton right away. It was like a minute old. I'm like, oh my gosh. I just started shaking, trying to get everything ready because I was like, this is wild. This is wild.
So I was in the kitchen and I heard the door burst open. I wasn't sure what the heck was going on. And it was Kim running in from outside saying, there's a plea deal. There's a plea deal. And I was like, what? And she's like, I can't believe this. And so we immediately had a reaction and we started talking about it. And we decided, well, hey, let's just go on live, right, real quick and just talk about it. So we just finished our live and we came over here to see what you were talking about because we're still in disbelief.
Yeah, I'm in shock. But Carlos called this like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
He said the closer we get to trial, he felt like this was what would happen.
Really? Yeah. Well, I thought he was going to take a plea deal. And I thought when the judge decided not to do the continuance, I just felt like, okay, it's coming now. So, and boom, even though I was predicting it for a few months, this was still a shock that he did it. And the reason is, CJ, we've said on our show a bunch of times, Kim has said this a lot, that if I'm innocent, I am going to scream from the rooftops. And I just heard you saying the same thing.
Yeah, when we joined, you were saying that.
Yeah, and I was like, see, that she would scream from the rooftops. And I said, if I was innocent, I would break every court order, I would be in contempt of court. I would have to serve 5 months in jail for contempt of court, because I would be screaming to anybody who listened, I didn't do this.
Right.
You got the wrong guy. You better look over here or something. I would not be this silent.
Speaking of looking over here, and I kind of, it's the same thing I was telling people with Richard Allen and Delphi. Like, a lot of the evidence didn't make sense to me or even line up. Like, even the bridge guy photos, the 2 separate photos, they look like 2 different people, whatever. But the dude admitted it. You know what I'm saying? And that's, I put myself, the one thing that you can always do to try and be a better person, to come up with better answers, to come up with better questions, is to put yourself in other people's shoes. And that's what you have to do. And that's what you have to do here. You put yourself in those shoes. I'm not going to allow no appeal if I'm doing a plea deal.
No.
Right.
I'm not going to allow no parole. I want those to be an option, because if I really didn't do it, I want to be able to have that opportunity to still prove my innocence, even though I might, and so when it comes to that, it's like, listen, same thing. I could be facing a DP, and I don't care. I will go to my death claiming my innocence if I didn't do it, if I didn't.
For sure.
And when it comes to other directions and stuff, this is what I have to ask now, because they had just introduced the alternate perps. They've been talking about the alternate perps. They gave the judge the information just days ago about the alternate perps. We remember from the beginning and the speculation about, hey, is there anybody else that you arrested? Now, when it comes to this other male DNA that never got tested and all of these other things, now I have to sit here and wonder, after this plea deal, was the alternate perpetrator and the evidence, did it come from Bryan Kohberger? Was there 3 to 4 other people that helped him commit this crime? And because Brian Etten says, we started hearing the rumblings about the conversations taking place on the 27th. The day before is when the alternate perp got shut down. Is that when Bryan Kohberger went, shoot, I'm going to have to take the fall for everybody? I mean, I don't know.
Why would you do that? Why would you take the fall for other people?
Because if you were the only, he wasn't trying to, right? If he's introducing, because we all thought Ann Taylor was going through, one of it was a tip. She got the information from a tip, didn't say who the tip was from, or, didn't elaborate beyond that. But when it comes to that, maybe he, just like when we first thought in the very beginning, when he said, did anybody else get arrested for this? Maybe from the beginning, he was the only one that was stupid enough to leave something behind out of the whole crew.
Did Kim mention this, and I want to get your take on it. Ann Taylor's demeanor changed over the past, I don't know, maybe month. Did you see that? Did you feel that from her? Did you feel like, because Kim speculated, maybe it's a personal issue that may have changed in her life, or, maybe I don't feel so strongly anymore or anything. What did you see any of that? And what was your take?
To me, it looked like she was just trying to do whatever she could and explore. And it's kind of like Yoli said, because there'd be a lot of things that we would question, like, what are you even doing this for? And it may have appeared as erratic, but Yoli made a good point. She was like, look, she's got to do, even if it doesn't make sense, she's got to do all this stuff for when it comes to an appeal process. And so to me, it looked like she was really just grasping at whatever straw she could grasp at. Just like I said, fighting until the last breath every day is what it appeared like to me. I don't know. I've even seen rumblings about how maybe she gave up, you know.
I didn't. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Not giving
You think
up,
so?
but just the fire and the passion seemed to not be there as strongly to me. And I didn't know if it was personal, because I hear like maybe her mom passed away or something. So I didn't know if it was that, or because she was hitting roadblocks with the judge every step of the way. So maybe she was just beaten down from that, or was it something else, like some evidence came out or something that she's like, oh, now we're, because it also seemed like there was just most of the focus was on the mitigating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of a defense.
Right. And you saw, you know, she is a very technical, you know, that's one of the things that we noticed, like when Kohberger, the day he got arrested, and we saw Ann Taylor going out, shutting down the cleaning crew at 11:22 that same morning. And it was like, dang, what kind of public defender shows up for a client like that, right? Like they're not even on Idaho soil. They're still in Pennsylvania. You don't even know if they're fighting extradition or not yet. And you're stopping the cleaning crew, and then everything that she's expressed in all of these court hearings too. I have yet to find the evidence that my client committed this crime.
Right.
Yeah. Your lawyer, if you have the evidence and it you know, it's like, yeah, if you're a defense attorney, you're obviously going to know sometimes, like, yo, this dude's guilty, but you still represent him because that's your job. But you don't come out and say, I have yet to find the, you know, the connection between my client, you know.
How did you get to my client? Yeah.
Right. You don't even say it, you know, you don't even put it out there, because then you're just asking for some negative karma to come back. But that's one of the things, is like she had proclaimed his innocence in all of these court hearings too. And you know, when it comes to money, we know that the money's tight, and there's a lot of stuff that you know, from the early court hearings, she was telling you how much her and her team was investing their own time and efforts beyond what they could afford. And they were still running at a snail's pace, and had their backs against the wall. So I'm sure it was a mixture of a little bit of, you know, you're obviously not getting paid, the time, the energy, the effort, the roadblocks, like you mentioned, you know, added on top of being shut down from this, trying to do the right thing, not seeing the right thing happening. Usually, you know, even the families, I can't believe this is sealed, you know, different things. And so it's like, maybe we're all human creatures, and we have emotions, and we have burdens that we go through. We're all human. And so maybe there was too many burdens that just accumulated over time. And you know, a full tank only has so much gas until it's empty.
I think there were a couple, three incidents that happened recently that made me think we're getting closer to, because I was predicting a plea deal, that we're getting closer to the plea deal. And we debated this a little bit. One was the DoorDash driver saying in that body cam footage that I'm going to testify and say that I saw Bryan, right? So that kind of got out there. The judge not giving the continuance, because, and Kim was even asking me like, well, why is that such a big deal? And I think, well, right now he's in county jail. He's not in a federal prison, right? So, you know, at least he has it okay right now. So a continuance just keeps him there.
Yeah.
And I really thought they might end up trying to go to trial, because if you can convince one juror,
you know,
And the third piece was, I didn't hear from Cy Ray anymore. And he was the only one that I felt that kind of came out that wasn't, sitting at the defense table that said, I have exculpatory evidence.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's just disappeared.
Yeah.
And so those three things were like, something's happening. But the moment Kim ran in the door and said that he took the plea deal, I was still shocked, even though I thought we were getting closer to the end here.
Yeah, it is. You never saw it coming,
Never saw it coming.
No, and that's a good question too, Aaliyah. I wonder if they will unseal all the documents. You know what I'm guessing right now is that I highly doubt we're going to see anything, you guys. Honestly, I think, and that's why I was saying earlier in the show, when it comes to all of the speculation and all the twists and all the wild stories that people are coming up with, the one thing that we always knew was one day we're going to get to the trial, and one day we're going to know if this was real or if this was made up or if this was clickbait or whatever. And that's I honestly feel that we're never going to see it. We're not going to see anything.
Is part of the plea deal, did you hear or not, CJ, that he has to admit to it to say either what or why?
Well, all Bryan Etten is reporting, because he said he was hearing the rumblings on Friday the 27th. He said that prosecution reached out to the defense yesterday, because there was conversations taking place through the whole weekend. The prosecution reached out to the defense last night with a proposed plea deal, and the defense accepted it this morning. Now, when it comes to what he's gonna let me play Bryan Etten's voice real quick. He can actually he says no appeal, no parole. He's pleading guilty to the 4 murders and pleading guilty to the burglary. And they're taking the death penalty off. And so that's the whole deal, faxed over last night from the prosecution after their conversations throughout the weekend since Friday. And then the defense accepted it this morning.
Man, who's feeding Bryan Etten that information?
The Captain Champs, probably. Just saying. He made it even past the finish line. Ain't that crazy? And this is what I'm wondering too. Now that there's going to be a plea deal, and again, there's going to be the court hearing on Wednesday. If you guys are going to be available for that court hearing, let me know, and maybe we can do some kind of collab thing or something.
Is that going to be in the morning?
Probably, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm at a customer, unfortunately, that day. But we could do some post trial reaction maybe afterwards.
Yeah. I mean, this is huge. I would like to hear a lot of people's thoughts and opinions on it, really, with all of this, and especially when it comes to, because the hearing is going to be on Wednesday. That's important because that's when it's actually, like written in stone, so to speak. Right now, it's kind of like, you've heard there's been times where there's been deals that have been announced and the paperwork wasn't signed yet. And then by the time it was time to sign the paperwork, something took a left turn or something. So,
and it could still happen. Sure.
It could happen, but it's crazy that even the burglary charge was, I don't know. I don't know how you didn't do it if you're not even allowing an opportunity for an appeal or parole. I just that don't make no sense to me. So, and like with the federal informant, I think this brings, there's always been these links about BK and being a federal informant, and I really feel like this right here, in my opinion, spreads it even farther away from being possible because. In my opinion, if he was some kind of informant, he wouldn't even be known to us. We wouldn't even know his name. If he was an informant, he's not going to serve time and he's going to be kaput. You know what I'm saying? he's going to be kaput, and it don't even get to this plea deal. But the plea deal itself and what he is pleading to, that to me, it just I entertained it before, but with this, it's to me, it's so far away at this point. I don't see. I feel like there would have been a different outcome. I don't know.
Yeah.
You were gonna say something.
I was just gonna say that they had that hearing today in Pennsylvania about the witnesses, and I heard that no one from the defense was there to represent. And it just dawned on me after this came out with the plea deal. I'm like, oh, well, that's probably why.
That's what I thought too. That's the first thing that came to my mind when I seen it come
Yeah.
across, because I had just seen the PA witnesses' testimonies and how 3 of them didn't want to go. But then when I heard Brian Enton say that the rumblings had been happening since Friday, that's when
Wow.
I mean, that was before this even took place this morning. So then I go back to Friday, then I go to the docket, and then I see, well, the day before the alternate perp was shut down, all, the 4 of them. And so then that made me go, well, maybe that's why he was still fighting, because he was hoping that these other people that he did it with were going to get in trouble for it too. And they were like, nope, there's not enough. It got shut down. And then he got to a point where maybe he was like, okay, look, I've tried, I'm going to have to, I'm the stupid one that left the thief. I'm going to have to bite the bullet for,
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, that's when I started going, well, maybe he was the one that offered the alternate perpetrator and all the evidence that came with it.
True.
Well, I know you said that you were about to get off, so we won't keep you. But if Wednesday, if you are, by the time we get home, if you want to give us
reach out to me, email me, and let me know, and then we can.
I'll email you.
I can go ahead and get something set up prior, and then we could do that. I'm gonna try and is evenings better? Like,
yeah.
Well, for me, but now that Kim's nearly 100%,
both of us.
Okay, yeah. Evening's better for me, but Kim's semi-retired here, so.
Well, let's give me a good time, and then I'm gonna try and schedule and see if some others want to join us too, and we can have a big panel.
Nice.
Discussing it, because this is wild, and
BK better write a book.
Better,
like OJ.
The crappy part is all of these questions that we've had about all of this evidence for the last few years, and a lot of the things that didn't make sense, that we were waiting for trial, the route, the skin cells, all the touch transfer, all of this stuff. We'll never have a question to it or an answer to it, because I think it'll look, you already saw how much they were fighting to seal everything and keep it sealed as it was. Once this plea deal happens, we ain't, unless something gets leaked out. I really don't feel that we're gonna go for years and years and years and not have the answers to the questions that we thought we were going to have when the trial was supposed to take place. And that's the because there's so many things. I mean, like with you, Carlos, like did you, like, even with all the evidence, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that just, it didn't make sense, or it was questionable.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way too? Even though that you saw the plea deals and stuff like that, did you feel like, even though it's like, it's kind of like what I said, I don't know if he did it or not, and if trial shows that he did, hey.
Right. Well, I think the good thing about Typically Unique in our podcast is we're on different sides of this, but Kim will say something or bring something to my attention, or I've heard something, and I'm like, I don't like that for maybe his rights being violated, or that seems suspicious. I wonder why we haven't heard more about that. a lot of the Cy stuff had me on the, on the edge, because he was really saying, I have exculpatory evidence. So yeah, there were times that I was leaning towards, the other side and saying, hey, there's a possibility that he could be found not guilty. I don't know if he's innocent or not, but I really thought that, there was a lot of things that would maybe find him not guilty. And maybe at best for him, maybe even a hung jury, because there was a lot of questions. What happened recently, I guess, is he feels, because he has to make this ultimate decision, and Taylor's not making this decision for him. He has to make this decision. And ultimately something happened that either we kind of know or don't know that pushed him to the point, I can't take the chance for one hung juror or potentially getting a not guilty because whatever Bryan Kohberger feels inside of him that made him take this deal. But as a potential juror, if I was in Idaho, I would be listening intently. I wouldn't say it would be a slam dunk for me at all. And I think Kim felt the same way, even though that there was a lot of, theories that made sense. She always had a problem with, well, why is this? And why, there's too many things that kind of pointed in his direction that gave her pause, but not enough to completely say, he's guilty. Right. So
I just feel that some piece of solid evidence must be behind the scenes we don't know about that the defense found out about. That's my gut feeling right now.
Yeah, because they were still doing discovery requests.
Right.
Yeah. And that's a good point. And yeah, it was the same. Like there's questions. Like there's definitely questions. But it's like I always said, that's why when it came to like pro burgers and all this other stuff, it's like, look, I'm just pro justice because I'm gonna ask the things that need asked. Like if shit don't make sense, I'm gonna say it. But at the same time, I know I wasn't there. I know that I don't have access to the evidence, and you do at trial, and so that would have answered a lot of questions. But yeah, at the same time, it's just like, there's so many things that were like, man, this don't make sense. But then at the same time, you were like, why was the sheath there? How did your touch transfer get on there? Now there's other theories and thoughts, and that's what trial was supposed to show, the evidence. And so, not being able to see that, we're never going to know unless, like you said, BK writes a book.
Right.
We're not, unfortunately. So thank you guys. Appreciate you guys hopping up and hanging out. It's good to see you guys again. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, here's the link. If you're not subscribed, you can go check out their channel. Here, let me put that in there again. And I'm going to be scoping it, seeing if there's anything breaking, if there's anything going live with anything, let me check here. I'm not seeing anything from Brian Enton. And let me check one more thing just before. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything from Brian Enton. I don't know. We'll find out more. We'll see if it actually takes place in the court hearing on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to hopping on maybe Wednesday evening. Thanks again for having us. We appreciate it, and best of luck.
Yes, you too. Appreciate you, and man, what a wild day. What a wild
day. Bye, CJ.
Bye. Thank you.
See you later. Thank you, guys. It's all over. So what happened is the defense and the prosecution were having discussions from Friday, went through the weekend. The prosecution proposed a deal to the defense, sent it over last night. This morning, the defense accepted the plea deal. No appeal, no parole, pleading to all 4 murders and also the burglary charge. This is wild. It doesn't even feel real, you know. It's like, is this even real? Is this even real? But like I said, the game's not over until it's 0-0-0. But I'm not going to admit to something I didn't do, even if I'm facing DP. And so, a day we didn't think would come, but it came. And it does something. It's like what they brought up a second ago, you know. This is what, was the alternate perp getting shut down his way of going, I was trying to get these other people that helped me commit this crime to get in trouble too, but there's just not enough there. And so I'm going to have to bite the bullet. I might as well take it now. Or could it have been something where, like they said, maybe Ann Taylor, the new supplemental request for discovery, maybe she got something, I don't know. But there's one thing that's for sure. Ann Taylor, it's not Ann Taylor's decision. This is Bryan Kohberger's decision. Bryan Kohberger is the one that decided to take this plea deal. And I know it's crazy, and I know it don't make sense, and I know it's shocking to a lot of people, but this is you yourselves, to anybody. Would you, in the same position, accept a plea deal for no appeal, no parole, plead to the 4 murders and plead to the burglary? Just to have, the only thing that changed was the death penalty was taken off, and that they added no appeal, no parole. No appeal, no parole. If you're willing to take that kind of deal, you did it. The one thing that I'm going to wonder is were the 4 other perpetrators that got shut down in court last week, the day before the talks took place, was it Bryan Kohberger saying, look, these 4 other dudes were involved. None of them were stupid enough to leave something behind. Well, look, I'm not going to keep fighting. They're not going to get in trouble. I'm already tied to it. Holy hell, the freaking thunder and lightning. It's going crazy here. All right, you guys, I love you. I had to switch it around this evening. I was going to do a show this night, tonight. This came out instead, breaking news a couple hours ago. Had to go live tonight, so now I need to do my stuff here at home this evening. So we'll see if there's something breaking crazy that happens. I might be on later tonight. If not, we'll be back. We'll be watching that court hearing live. You know it's going to be live on Wednesday, and they're not going to release anything in these documents. I just wonder if this Prime Video documentary is going to include more stuff now that there's a plea deal, because we're still 12 days away from seeing this Prime Video. Twitch party. Sub up on Twitch. Follow on Twitch. You can join us live. Or is there going to be a Dateline Part 2? Is Dateline now going to be coming out with even more stuff? But when it comes to this Prime Video, we already heard who's talking. We already heard Emily say that when Dylan called her to have her and Hunter come over, that they were even joking on the phone together. It makes me wonder, are we going to see, because it's not out yet, they can be like, look, guys, we need to add a whole bunch more stuff now. There's a plea deal. We can have this in the doc. We can have this in the doc now. Makes me wonder. This Prime Video documentary is going to be wild. Thank you all. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Please have a peaceful, positive day. And if you're joining late, definitely check out the beginning. We go through a lot of other stuff as well. Love you guys. And I will keep my ears to the ground. And I'll let you guys know if anything comes out. Either we'll do a live or community post or something. And then we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Seven, 4, 6.